Okay. All right. So we are rolling. It is recording and Chris can hear us.
Hey,
Hi, Chris. So we're going to wrap this thing up. This will be the last one, episode 126. So Chris will, at least I'll give you a little quick shout out before we record. We have appreciated everything that you've done for us and have kept having you as our producer for a reason, and you've taken good care of us, and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely would have never done this without you. So,
right.
I just don't think it would have ever happened.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right. Well, there will be more, Chris, there will be more closure, I'm sure, through the DMs and the messages and stuff like that. So, but at least for now, that's sort of the beginning of it. We appreciate you.
Yes, and have patience with my emotions today, Chris.
Yeah, we're not totally sure how this is going to go, so we'll see. Okay. All right, Kasey, you ready to do this?
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
Yep. Okay. All right. Am I starting with welcome to?
Yes. Unless you want to say something else.
No, that's okay. We can start it the way that we always have. So, all right, pause and let's do this. Welcome to episode 126 of the Google Teacher Podcast, your source for the latest Google for Education news, tips, tricks, and ideas you can use in class tomorrow. I'm Matt Miller from Ditch That Textbook.
And I'm Kasey Bell from Shake Up Learning. And we have a very special episode in store for you today. So you might have noticed the title, and Matt and I have some pretty big news to share today.
Yeah, that's right. Episode 126 will be the last episode of the Google Teacher Podcast. And it's something that Kasey and I have agonized over for several really weeks and months, and just trying to figure out when this was going to happen and how this was going to happen. And we have so enjoyed all of the time that we've gotten to do this, all of these years. But, you know, with priorities and trying to just figure out how we could make this work week in and week out and everything, we just kind of decided, didn't we, Kasey? Like now is probably the time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, please don't think that this was anything that we did on the fly. We have been sort of discussing this, and you probably remember we went down to every other week and we barely kept up with that. And it's just been really difficult. It's been a life-changing year in so many ways for pretty much everybody who's listening. So the idea of trying to keep this going and where our priorities are, both personally and professionally, it just kind of made sense that it was time to not say goodbye. We're not completely done with each other and with sharing
No.
googly things. There is no bad blood between us. We are continuing to support each other and have a wonderful friendship. But just the idea of keeping this going was just becoming a little bit too much. You know, it's so sad. I'm trying not to cry, y'all. It's just so sad. We think back to where we started, and Matt and I first met. We've shared this so many times, but we met at what was called the Google Teacher Academy. In fact, it was the very last one that was called Google Teacher Academy in December of 2014, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so just over 5 years ago. And I think we both kind of consider that the inception of Google Teacher Podcast. We didn't know what we were going to do together. We kind of knew we wanted to do something together, and we both wanted to do podcasts. I think at the time, were a little afraid to do it on our own. And lo and behold, we just keep doing new things and creating things and learning new things. And I've learned so much about podcasting. I've learned so much from Chris Nessie, our producer. So shout out to Chris for producing every episode of the Google Teacher Podcast and for helping us make it what it was, because we struggled in the beginning.
Yeah. It was pretty rough there at the beginning, wasn't it? Whenever we started this out, there was lots of, planning and lots of Google Docs full of ideas and everything. And then we turn on the microphones and Kasey and I are like, so what are we supposed to do here? And, I remember
again.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it that we said? We said super excited over and over and over again in the first episode.
We kept repeating the same word.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny to go back to those and listen to that.
Well, and the big thing was that we didn't have enough banter when we first started. That was, Chris was like, okay, this is great. But Matt and I are generally get to the point kind of people. And even though we had rapport with each other, we weren't used to putting that into something. Like, that's not something we would do in a presentation, but to try. And I was like, well, we don't want to waste people's time and all this stuff. So we literally had to put it in our outline what we were going to bant about, because we had to purposely plan for it at first. Obviously, it grew into something that we just started doing, and we let go of that perfectionism that, oh, let me record that again. Oh, how many ums did I say? No, you can count our ums. We say them all the time. It doesn't matter. We're real. We're practical. And the only way we could get it out was to kind of let go of some of that. We're not going to write a script and then record it. I think that first episode probably took us like 3 or 4 hours.
You did, yeah.
It really did. And we're like, oh my gosh, how are we ever going to do this every week? Right. So luckily we got more efficient, and we kind of got our little plan down, and we split up our tasks and kind of have our own little rhythm to making it work. And I think the fact that we've worked together for so long helped make this easier, and getting to know each other, because we have such similar beliefs, both in education and in the world, so to speak. So we have shared a lot of moments here. Chris has even created a few outtakes over the years. And I don't know how long it's been since we've had some outtakes, but we used to have some doozies, because there were just things that we were just saying, and just, what did I just say? And we would stop and we would say, wait, re-record it, not knowing that Chris was going to compile these into outtakes. And then later on, we just kind of embraced it, like, nope, that's a new word. We're just going with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's that sort of level of comfort that you get after time. And, I think we kind of became kind of like comfortable in our own skin, podcasting wise, a little bit more. And so, to think that we've found, Kasey, we have found time to sit down together, most of the time virtually, but every once in a while face to face, to record 126 podcast episodes over all of these years. That's kind of been the miracle of all of these things, because Kasey has, lots of things that she does with Shake Up Learning, and we'll go do, presentations at schools and conferences and stuff. And I do the same with Ditch That Textbook. And, we've both got families, and we both stay very connected to them, and like other things. It's just kind of a miracle, and usually what it became was, we would get done with an episode and we would go, okay, so when in the world are we going to do one of these again? How are we going to do it? And sometimes it would take some calendar gymnastics to try to figure out how in the world we were going to fit in, an hour and a half or so to be able, because that's how long it usually takes us to sit down and plan one of these and everything. And, sometimes we would record 2 episodes back to back to try to make them work, and then release them over a couple of weeks. And sometimes it would be like 11th hour, let's record this on Sunday and hope that Chris can squeeze it in before Monday. And, there've been all sorts of different things that we've had to do, but it's eventually worked its way out. And it's kind of amazing that we've had this many of them, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud to say that we together created 126 episodes. And I think the evolution of the Google Teacher podcast over 5 seasons has been incredible. And I think more so for me as a learner than as the contributor and co-host of this show. I mean, I think I have learned so much from the listeners of this podcast, you know, the other teachers out there willing to share, willing to jump on and leave us a speak pipe or leave us a message and help us solve problems. Because, you know, sometimes we got questions that we couldn't answer. And guess what? Y'all came right in to help. And I think that's the beauty of being a connected educator, whether that's podcasts or Twitter or wherever you are. And I think that to me is my biggest takeaway, is just the things that it has helped me learn how to do and help me become better as an educator.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, for me, coming from the journalism world for a little while before I became a teacher, and, you know, getting kind of a glimpse into other professional, other professional groups and everything, I just got to believe that we as educators are some of the most supportive, generous, caring, loving people, because that's what we've got to be for our kids. You know, that's what we've got to be in the classroom for our students. And it crosses over a lot of times to our professional lives. And, you know, just how, just like what Kasey said, like, you know, all of the times that we're willing, and I say we as, you know, all of us in this community are willing to, you know, stop and take somebody's question and think about it and compose an answer, and then sometimes go try it out and see if it works and go run it by somebody else. And like, you know, the generosity that comes out of all of that, like, I will never, it never ceases to amaze me how generous and caring educators are. And I think if you go back and, you know, we've gone back and looked at some of the listener statistics from our episodes, and it's no surprise that the tips from the Google teachers are always the best episodes. And when I say best episodes, I mean that in a couple of different ways. Number one, the statistics back it up. They're the most downloaded episodes of all of them, are the ones where, you know, you all leave tips and then we get to hear them. But they're the best episodes too, because they have the best stuff. They have the best suggestions and tips and everything. It also meant that for one episode at a time, we got to hear your voices. You know, this is so much of a one directional thing. If you think about podcasting, it goes in one direction. It goes out from us, and then it goes into your device and it goes into your ears. And we don't always get to hear your voices. And so those were always, I know I'm speaking for you too, Kasey, that those were always the best ones, because it wasn't just me and Kasey yammering on. We got to hear from you, and we got to talk about, you know, how great it was that you all had to share. So I just wanted to stop for a second there and just thank you as a listener, whether you sent a tip in or not. I mean, you know, those were the best parts of this. And so I just wanted to thank you all for that.
Yeah, the speak pipes were definitely my favorite too. I love hearing your voice and hearing you explain how to do something. I don't know how many people realize that the speak pipes occasionally get spammed.
They do.
And it
yes.
has actually gotten worse as of late. So just as a side note, they can also be kind of entertaining, whether that's you entertaining us or laughing. We'll say laughing with us. You're probably laughing at us, some of the things that we've done or said, but also like, kids are leaving like messages and singing and stuff. It has nothing to do with the podcast. So you just never know what you're going to get as we prepare for the episodes and trying to listen to all of that. And there's so much that we have gained through this process. I know both of us learned a lot about podcasting, obviously, but about the intimacy of voice.
Yes.
You know, that hearing us in your ears, you know, how many people have come up to us and said, I feel like I know you because you're on my run with me every week, or, things like that. And that is really special to me. And I know that feeling. I listen to podcasts as well, and it cracks me up that anybody would want to hear my voice, but that this is a thing, that this is a real live thing, and that we have been able to connect with people through this format, people that, weren't already, following the blogs or other things like that, that it did expand our audience into more of the audio listener.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. It always makes me smile whenever I get to meet somebody face to face who listens to the podcast, and then it makes me smile even bigger whenever they go, you are exactly the same as I would expect you after listening to this show, which, by the way, to me just blows me away, because I'm thinking, well, how else would I be? But I guess I guess sometimes people are different, the way that they sound on one thing and the way that they are in person. But I've always thought that was cool. And I think the thing that has brought me some of the most joy out of all of it is that whenever we share something, and then someone comes up to us or sends us a message or something and says, "Hey, I tried that, and it helped me out," or "We tried this idea and our students loved it," or something. And I think for Kasey and I, that's been one of our absolute pleasures and privileges professionally, is to get to share ideas that you all get to hear, and that maybe, if they're good ideas, that you might apply them in class, and that your students might learn a little better, learn a little more, learn a little differently, that maybe your life is a little bit more efficient, or maybe it puts a smile on your face or something like that. Like those are the things that have been the biggest joy, I think, for both of us. And so we just thank you for getting that opportunity to be able to kind of like pour into your lives a little bit each week.
Thank you to all of our listeners, whether you started listening at episode 100, or if this is your first episode, I apologize. Go back and listen to some other ones so you can get some good content. But, there are many of you who have listened since the very beginning, since episode 1, since we were tripping over our words, since we had, crazy antics and outtakes and all kinds of things that were made, jokes, memes, I believe, evolved over time. And some of you have been present for all of that. And we are so grateful and thankful. And even though this is the last episode of GTP, we are still saying it's not the end, because you know what? We are both still creating content, and a lot of Google specific content to support you. So even though it's not going to be in the same format, we don't want you to think that we're not still here for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And so there's lots of different ways that you can do that. We're going to dig into a couple of the places that you can continue to get some of that content. And, one place that you certainly can, as Kasey just alluded to this earlier, is that we still have 125 episodes of the podcast out there. So if you're listening to this and either you haven't heard all of those episodes, or if you have, and maybe there's something that you want to go back to, you can certainly go and do that. But just like Kasey said, both of us are continuing to share lots of stuff that we hope will be able to support you. So Kasey, what are some of the best places that people can get the best stuff that you're sharing?
Yeah. Do you just want to go back and forth on this?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Like just share a couple things and then kind of go back. So we're not, okay.
Yeah.
Well, first off, the Shake Up Learning Show podcast is still on the air. Do you still say on the air?
I think you could say that. Yeah.
On the air. You say on the air, but it seems so funny to say that now. But the Shake Up Learning Show podcast comes out every Tuesday. I am nearing 100 episodes of that podcast, so there's tons of content there. And y'all know I love me some Google, so there's plenty of googly things in the podcast. And just want you to know that you can do that, and you can subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts. However you found this one, you can probably find it, but you can also just stream it directly from shakeuplearning.com.
Speaking of other podcasts, I did have the Ditch That Textbook podcast for a little while. It was more of an experiment of like, could I do a different kind of podcast? And so I've tried to do these, like 5 minutes a day type of things. And I kept up with it for a little while. And so if you want to go check out some of the back episodes of that, you can certainly do that. We've got links. By the way, we do have links to all of the stuff we're talking about here in the show notes at googleteacherpodcast.com/126. But the best place to keep up with me probably is is my email newsletter, where I'm constantly sharing, the new blog posts, the new things that I'm doing, new opportunities, new things that you can learn. And so what's nice about that is whenever you sign up, you get that weekly email newsletter in your inbox, usually Wednesdays or Thursdays. I always try to shoot for Wednesday, but I don't always make it. So Wednesdays or Thursdays, it usually shows up in your inbox with some new things you can try in class. And then, that always has links to the different things that are showing up on the Ditch That Textbook blog. And of course, if you sign up for that, you get these free ebooks full of a whole bunch of practical things that you can try in your class right away, including there's one of them called 101 Practical Ways to, it's 101 Ways to Ditch That Textbook with G Suite. So it's like lots of Google related ideas. And so if you want to sign up for that, there is a link in the show notes where you can sign up for that.
Yes, and we know many of you are subscribed to the Google Teacher Podcast email, and we will be sending out an email there where you can also click on some links to join one of our email lists, because that email list will, of course, be going away. ShakeUpLearning.com, which is my site, my blog, that's where my podcast is hosted. You can also go to ShakeUpLearning.com/subscribe and download a freebie like the Google Classroom cheat sheets, which I can't seem to do enough of at the moment. So that is available for free if you subscribe to Shake Up Learning. And like Matt, I send a once a week email with the latest blog posts, the latest YouTube videos, everything that's going on. And so we both spend a lot of time creating and curating content around education and supporting you. And a lot of that is Google focused, just like this podcast. So you can get those things there. One thing I do want to mention that I also do on my podcast and YouTube every Tuesday is a Google Quick Tip video. So there's an entire playlist of these, but of course it's becoming longer and longer because a new one comes out every week. So these are usually 2 minutes or less quick Google tips. So if you are, just the Google fiend and you need some Google fixes, then we still got you covered, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Kasey and I have both written multiple books too that you can go check out. You can find those on Amazon or wherever it is that you get books. Both of us do have titles that have the word Google in them. So if you haven't checked out any of those, there are some links in the show notes, again, at googleteacherpodcast.com/126. We also do speaking in person and virtual as well. And so if you're interested in getting some of that, there are links on the show notes for that as well.
And of course, don't forget social media. Lord help us. This world and social media is crazy right now, but I think we have enough variety to find you where you want to be. So Matt and I have listed out in the show notes all of our links to our various social media platforms. So if you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is that you like, you can go find us there and connect with us there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we kind of wrap this up, I also wanted to give a big shout out again to our podcast producer and co-conspirator, Chris Nessie, who has been with us since the beginning and has helped us to plan out what this show might look like, to help us with the technical details. He has played firefighter and put out some fires when things haven't gone quite right, and he knows his stuff. So if you aren't a listener to the House of EdTech podcast, definitely go check that out. you can certainly find it at his website, chrisnesi.com. That's CHRISNESI.com. So definitely go check that out. And also, if you have interest in starting your own podcast, I'm sure that Chris would love to work with you just like he's worked with us. So definitely reach out to him there.
And, I think we have sort of rattled on enough about what we're doing and the purpose of this very last episode, which is so bittersweet. We love y'all. We respect everything that you're doing, and especially in such a tough year. And we hope you understand our decision and that you will continue to connect with us in all of the millions of places that we just shared. But we'd love to hear what your favorite moments are. Help us reflect on this entire project. This was our Google Teacher Academy project. So we'd love to hear what your favorite Google Teacher podcast moments are. Feel free to tag us on social and let us know what did you really enjoy.
Yeah. And please do stay in touch. We do continue to love, even if we don't have an active podcast going on, we still do love hearing what you're doing and love to be able to amplify your voice and amplify what you're doing to be able to help other people. So please do stay in touch, if that's on social media or email or whatever. But, other than that, like Kasey said, we love you all, and we support what you're doing in the classroom, and what you do day in and day out, whether people see it or not, whether it gets appreciated or not, is important. And we really believe that it's life-changing work, and we're so thankful that you're doing it, and we're thankful to have gotten to spend some time in your earbuds through your speakers for all these years. And so thank you again so much for being a part of it. And like we said, goodbye, but not the end. This is definitely not the end. So we will definitely be catching you in other places, hopefully.
And that's it. Bye, y'all.
Thanks.
I gotta record that again. I don't want it to sound like that. I'm trying not to cry. Oh,
that's okay.
Sad.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, Chris.
Here,
Oh,
I'll do my my line, and then you can do the bye, y'all. How about that?
Okay.
Sound good? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So one more time to wrap this episode up. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Google Teacher Podcast, and we'll catch you later.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, that was good. You composed it together very nicely.
Thanks for listening to the Google Teacher Podcast. Never miss an episode by subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts and by visiting our website, googleteacherpodcast.com. Join the conversation on Twitter by using the hashtag GTPod. Until next time, keep harnessing that G Suite power, and may the Googles be with you.
All right.
I don't know. I threw that in at the end.
Oh, that's fine. That's good. I'm glad you did. So.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. May the Googles be with you.
I wanted to say, we did it. We made it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I'll hit stop recording. I think that's everything, isn't it, for the first episode?
If you are interested and you loved the episode, please stop.
Take two.
I started out okay. Yeah. I'm never going to remember what I said, but that's okay. Okay.
Oh, that was good. That was good. You know your computer hates you when you keep all those tabs open, right?
Hey, that's how I operate. That's why I have this very expensive iMac.
Yeah. Tab addict.
Hoarder. I'm a tab hoarder.
Tab hoarder. Okay, sorry. Didn't want to insult you with the wrong.
I use that phrase when I train on Chrome. Some Google.
Hang on a second. We need to do that all over again. Sorry. Sorry. I blew it. Okay.
That's okay.
Try this. That's a dumb word. I wish I could do this better. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to start again. I'll get this. I'll get it eventually. Okay, 5 seconds.
And I'm going to remember that we're in episode 5. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's like I've got some sort of mental block with these numbers. So, okay.
I need to get you like a Post-it note to put on your computer with a great
I really
big
should just do that.
5 on it. Yeah. Have you noticed that we've gotten the episode number right like every single time?
It's because I finally remembered it's on the page.
I know. That kind of makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can be so blind. Chris, don't use that.
He's going to use it.
He's going to use it.
Oh my goodness. It just keeps getting more and more intelligent on this show with my little outtakes. Got high society, high culture.
I'm super excited about that, Matt.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's right. I'm super excited too. Yay. Okay. Our school recently 1-to-1. 1-to-1. Our school recently 1-to-1. I'm starting that all the way over. See, Kasey, it's not just you.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do this. Did you guys know I was in school? I went to school, folks.
Oh, Chris.
I was a student. Oh dear, this is horrible.
Yeah, well, I'll just cross my fingers and say, Chris, make me sound good. So.
Yes, exactly. So
he can dub over it with his voice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Casey's talking, and it's high pitch Casey voice, not like really high pitch, and then it's like Chris Nessie voice.
Yeah, like when you're watching one of those movies where they try to cut out the bad words and they fill it with somebody else's voice that sounds completely different.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, you're such a really bad person for doing that.
Oh, you're gonna be in the bloopers.
Oh dear. That's okay.
Yeah,
I can live with that.
That's priceless there.
I live in the bloopers, so.
Yeah.
Folks, I am super excited to... Wait, we're going to do that again because I started with super excited. It just came right out.
Drinking game.
Break ourselves of super excited. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Chris is getting that.
That's going to go in the bloopers at the end. Okay.
Take it away, George.
His name's Keith.
That's right. She's got the two first names.
The 2 first names. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Chris. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We just totally screwed you up, and now you've got to. Let me just do this one again. I'll just do this one again.
Okay. Start from the beginning. All right. And even if that doesn't work, at least we've got something we can work with. So.
Yeah, he's got some outtakes at least.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been a little short on outtakes the last couple of times. Because we're getting so good at it, right? Right. Not. Okay. All right. So you're going to kick off the featured content, the hidden treasures.
Mm-hmm. We're extra chatty today.
I messed that one up.
Or do you want me to start and give it an intro and then you read the question?
Sure. Yeah. Because no, wait, you started the Google Earth thing, so yeah, I'll start this and read the question. Sheesh. I'm going to be the one in the blooper reel this.
That's okay. We'll just play the silence.
Right. Yes. Okay, here we go. Now that we're done patting each other's backs.
You're the bee's knees.
Yeah, and the cat's pajamas. What we should do is just go camp out at Google. Just like bring our tents and we'll just camp out on their lawn. And I'm sure
they frown on that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Homeland Security is hanging out.
Yes, exactly. Oh,
well, I was trying to get into your line of thinking, and I'm like,
I know.
I'm trying to. Okay. I'm trying not to mess you up. So
that's okay. That was hilarious.
I'm looking at what it says on there, and I'm like, play that. I'm thinking funky music.
Play that. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Now there's some outtakes. All right.
Yes, exactly. We've been a little dry on them recently, so.
Yeah, we'll make up for it today.
Yeah. Are you sure it was just coffee that you had in your coffee today?
I don't know what Starbucks put in there. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week already.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So we'll talk about this instead.
Okay.
Because my other thing just was not working. It was not working. Sorry, Chris. There you go.
All right.
Oh, man.
I literally was crying. I was trying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard me when I laugh hysterically. It's really annoying and it gets really loud and squeaky. And I was trying not to do that. Like
Trying not to squeak.
I squeak and then I can't breathe, and then it just gets worse and worse because other people just can't believe that noise is coming out of me. So I was trying really hard not to do that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's great.
Oh man. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I get.
Hello, Chris Nessie. I know you're listening.
We've got a stalker.
I know, that's right. We're used to it. Okay. All right. You ready to start our banter?
Let's
Or do I
bant.
start it?
Let's
All right.
bant.
All right. Banting. Is that like planking?